In 2019, a washed-up duo of bench racers were sent to RC prison for the crime of on-track race incidents. These men fled Facebook to the platform of Podbean to safely spew their garbage without any listeners. Wanted by stock racers, they survive with weekly episodes. If you have a problem and don't want a solution and are okay with not using iTunes, then you can listen to the Track Walk RC Podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Track Walk RC Podcast, episode number 38. And this is a special podcast for us because this is our 1-year anniversary episode.
Happy birthday to us.
Happy birthday. Yep. We are excited to be bringing this episode for you this week. Later on, we're going to get into our highly anticipated call-ins, which I am super excited for. That should be a lot of fun. So
I'm scared.
I'm a little scared too. Yeah.
I don't know who's going to call in.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe we won't. Someone will come on and say something. I don't know. But that's also part of the fun. So, yeah, I'm excited. And this will be a good episode. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who has supported us, especially from the beginning. Pretty crazy that we're a year in. I wish we had more episodes within that year, but, you know, we've been really consistent as of late. So I think this next year is going to be quite a bit better, you know, and especially since we had a lot of ups and downs in episodes and learning curves and all this stuff. I mean, this was, I think, a lot bigger of an endeavor than any of us really thought it would be. So, which was cool. It's been very rewarding, and it's been pretty awesome to see the support rallied behind it, and you know the numbers pan out how they have, and now we have a healthy Patreon, and people are always coming up to us at races telling us how much they love the show. It's really cool, and it makes me happy that even if someone like myself who's not as involved in maybe day-to-day RC anymore in terms of like driving or getting to participate in it, that means that like we can still come out and do stuff like this and still channel our enthusiasm for the hobby and the industry in a different way. So that's pretty cool. So thank you, everybody. That means a lot to us.
Yeah, I can't believe the support. I'm just blown away from when we started till now, where it's kind of gone and how it's grown. Never anticipated this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I wish we had more episodes within that year, but at the same time, I was thinking at the start of this one, I think about this pretty much every week once we start recording, but I thought to myself, I was like, episode 38. It's like, that's crazy. I really never thought we'd have this many. I didn't think we'd have over 10,000 listens. Like, I just, it's awesome. And like everyone wants to have something that is, I think when they go on a content endeavor like this, they want to have something that is whatever they deem successful. And I feel pretty happy with where we've come in that year. And that makes me really excited for what this next year can be, because we want to make it even better. And things are happening every week that get us that much closer, I feel like.
Yeah. I want to know how everybody enjoyed hearing Adam on last week.
Yeah. A lot of people that I read here and there that did provide feedback on it loved it. I think that just like it was for us, a lot of people felt validated in that, hey, this scene is what we think it is. It is better than we think it is. We have something really special here, and this is something that, Colin, you and I have been trying to preach since the beginning, that, hey, like, the Northwest is awesome. Yeah, you can go to these races in California or the East Coast or around the world, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but I think they're also a little bit sobering in the fact that, wow, we really have, I think, one of the most premier racing regions anywhere in the world. I truly believe that, because there's consistency in everything that people say when they come up here. Is that just that the atmosphere, the culture, the style of races, how laid back it is, but also the attention to detail. Like, we're not a bunch of hillbillies out here with toy cars just throwing dirt. It's not like that. We're really organized. We're meticulous. And people can come from, like, Southern California, who's a guy who's been everywhere, all around the world, makes a living racing, and can come to our region and say, wow, this is cool. And he wasn't the only one. So
no, everybody I've talked to that's come from other regions just can't express how much they love coming here, and how cool it is and how unique.
Yeah. And, like, I don't want to sit here and, like, make it sound like, oh, just, like, look at how awesome we are. But honestly, like, we do deserve it to a certain extent. And I've been telling you guys since the beginning, right, where I've told you that, hey, we have something pretty special up here. That's why I wanted to talk about Northwest-focused stuff. We could go out, right, every week and make the same podcast over and over again, talking about the industry as a whole and talking about the same things that 15 other podcasts are doing. And there's nothing wrong with what they're doing, but why not have something that you can relate to? Why not have something that that you can speak to? And not only that, but know the people behind it. I mean, I feel like that we could potentially reach a bigger audience if we started talking about national level stuff. We could, do different kinds of content that appeal to, like, mass groups. But I think at the same time, and why maybe I have shied back from wanting to make that leap, is just because I think it loses the magic a little bit. We're a niche. We're kind of small. We're not the biggest region in the world by any means. We don't have the listenership that a lot of big podcasts do, but I also feel like that our content, as long as you can speak to it, that makes me really happy. And I hope that you guys feel the same way, because that means that I can take pride in what I do for you guys every week. Colin, I'm sure you feel the same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love doing this. I love putting it out, and I love hearing what other people have to say about each episode. The feedback constantly.
Yeah.
And whenever I go to the track or anything like that, the feedback is always there's always at least one person that comes up and expresses how much they love what we're doing. So
yeah,
it's a huge sense of pride.
Oh,
for sure.
Absolutely.
To be able to do this.
And I'm not trying to make it sound like an ego stroke or anything, because it's not that. It's just that it makes me happy knowing that people are enjoying it. And that gives me energy to keep doing it. It's not like Colin, listen to all these people and, read all these messages of people telling us how awesome we are. Like, that's not that. It's nice to be able to, we've said it before. It kind of feels like we're giving back in a way, right? This is a way to sort of reinvest into RC. Both you and I have both been doing it a really long time, but this is another avenue we can take to help grow our local scene. So that's been cool.
Yeah, that's what it's about more than anything, is showing how good our scene is here and how good our people are.
Yeah. Especially in a time like this, the world being the way it is, and the uncertainty kind of surrounding everything. It's been tough, I think, for a lot of people, and it's been pretty awesome that RC, even when it's not really happening, has still been a way out. It's still been a way for people to express themselves. I mean, how many bench pics and pictures of paint jobs and this and that have we seen from people working on, especially in the scale community? People are going nuts right now. This is the best thing to ever happen to that hobby, because people are making everything left and right, and I'm seeing the coolest rigs come out that I've seen, and people are going out in front of their house and doing test hits with the drag car. Like, it's awesome.
I can't wait. Did you see mine? I got it kind of mocked up a little bit. I'm starting to work on it.
That thing was badass. I love it. That's a cool color too. That thing's gonna be fast.
It's I don't think it's really going to work that well, mainly because of the short wheelbase.
Yeah.
I think it's either it definitely is going to need a wheelie bar, but
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun is what it is.
Yeah, even with a wheelie bar, I think it's going to be a handful. So,
yeah.
But
hey, we'll figure it out.
I'm going to have fun.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. I saw that thing and I was like, yep, it's starting. That is going to be super cool. I'm excited to see that thing run. I'm excited to see everyone's come out and start doing some hits, whether it's a true NPRC style car or if it's going to be kind of like a run what you brung, like what you're doing. I mean, it's going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to, I hope that coming into the summer, things, I'm not so sure it will, but I'm hoping that things will wind back a little bit, as far as this whole COVID thing. Maybe we'll get to go outside, we'll get to go to the park. And I'm really hoping that means that there's going to be some enthusiasm channeled into what people are doing at the park, bringing out all these projects they've been working on for months. Just having fun with everybody. I think that it's going to be, and I've said this like the last 3 episodes since all this craziness began, but, I just want to keep reiterating that I really hope that this is a moment where people can come together and be truly excited about RC again, because people are starting to find out that you don't really appreciate it till it's gone. And that's what's happening right now. And unfortunately, what's going to happen when all this is over, there's going to be some tracks that are closed. There's going to be some companies that could potentially go under and I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything. I'm just saying that's the unfortunate reality of what we're dealing with here, people. It is serious. And this is going to have a lasting effect on the industry. So there's going to be things that you can control. There's going to be things that you can't. But what's going to ultimately be important is that when this is all over, we go out to wherever our local contingent is. Because I know we have listeners that aren't completely Northwest focused. We have some that are all around the world. And they have, hopefully, all of them have some sort of local track that by the end of all this is still standing. I really, really hope. Obviously, I would never wish otherwise. But the only way we can make light of this situation, the only thing we can control is that when all this is over, we go out and we have the absolute time of our lives and enjoy and support what has brought us a lot of joy and frustration, but smiles and laughs and everything for the last however many years that you guys have been doing it. So I'm hoping that's what comes out of this. I really do.
Yeah, I think the scale stuff and the stuff that you can do at home without a track, I think that is it's actually going to grow.
Oh, absolutely. Scale,
the drag racing, the crawling, that kind of stuff is actually going to grow. Whereas the racing is going to take a bit of a hit, I think. Yeah,
I think so. Racing is going to struggle for a while. Especially some of the more expensive types. So racing off-road is going to struggle. The scale and drag, I think, are going to benefit out quite a bit, really. I think that they're going to see quite a jump in numbers. Not that there's really an official count anywhere, but just kit sales and everything else. And, cars are still being released by some people. Axial just had another one come out, and people are excited about that. So there are opportunities for people to make this a productive time for themselves in the RC industry. And I mean, we see it every day. I mean, SOR has slowed down a little bit, but we're still getting orders. People still want to get stickers for their stuff. I mean, and we're not the only ones. There's tons of outfits and vendors that are still pumping orders out, still trying to get product out to people, because now people are sitting at home in front of their workbench going, damn, what can I do?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of how this drag car thing came along for me. And, I do want to build a proper NPRC, no prep car.
Yeah. Well, you and I never even talked about it, really. Like you and I never really talked about what you were kind of putting together. Like we did and did little bits here and there, but I was surprised to see that on your timeline there when that all came out.
Well, it's all just parts I had sitting here left over from last season's buggy, and the little hot rod body I put on there just for fun once last year to run on the carpet.
Yeah.
But the only thing that I had to buy was the tires and wheels, which will transfer over to a short course based drag car when I get around to it.
Right,
so
right.
This is just me messing around with stuff that I have here laying around, and yeah, I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna put electronics in it, and I'll go out and do some burnouts and do some test hits in the parking lot and kind of see how it works. But ultimately, I'll have a proper MPRC car here.
I think that is going to be so cool.
Hopefully, before the season starts, I'll have a proper car.
Yeah, I'm hoping to do the same. I'm really hoping that DR10s start making their way over soon. I was talking with a couple of people throughout the last week, and Elliot being one of them, and I'm halfway tempted to dump off that SC10 that we bought and just turn it over to him, since he's pretty much doing contract RC work right now, since he has nothing else to do with his time. So I was looking at that kid's Facebook the other day, and I mean, his whole room is like filled with RC cars he's working on for people right now.
Elliot is?
Uh-huh. Yeah, he's
awesome.
Basically anything he can do to be involved in RC and pass the time, and that was with some VRC sprinkled in. It's crazy. So it goes to show you, though, that some people, like, for some people, staying home is awesome. For others, not the best. And so, you know, I can speak to this a little bit, and this isn't something I talk about very much, but you guys get some transparency with me. So when, like, some of us are going to be holed up at home for a while, right? And I think this is going to go on longer than what our state proclamation was here in Washington. It was for 2 weeks. I think it's going to be extended.
Nationally, it was extended to the end of the month, but I think it's actually going to carry on even further than that.
I completely agree. Like I said, I hate to be a fearmonger and try and be that guy or be negative, because positivity is a big thing in something like this. But at the same time, I also think of myself as a bit of a realist, and I want to plan at least for this going on a while. All right. It's not slowing down. It's not. So no. A lot of people are going to be stuck at home. A lot of people who aren't homebodies are going to be stuck at home and are going to get fidgety. If you have a hobby like RC, especially like scale RC, that gives you an opportunity to I guess, channel that a little bit. You probably sitting here thinking, like, all right, well, here's all these things that have been on my bench that I haven't been able to finish. Now this is a good opportunity for me, which is good. That's healthy. There are some people who just do not have outlets like that, or some people who are going to get stir crazy sitting at home. There are mental health side effects to that, okay? Some people don't deal with it well, all right? So why am I bringing this up? So for those of you who know, not a lot of people do, but even though I made a big post about it and, dramatic Facebook and everything else, but obviously it was talked about a lot last year that I was basically leaving everything that I had at home. I was going to enlist in the Air Force, and that's what I did, okay? I was in basic training for 8 days. Not a very long time. To me, it felt like an absolute eternity, okay? And so on my 8th day in basic training, I had, first time in my life, okay, I had a spontaneous panic attack waiting to get an eye exam, all right? I was standing in line with the rest of my flight, waiting to get an eye exam. I just had my hearing test done. Basically, anybody, we have some people who are veterans that listen to us, and everyone kind of remembers their run through with MEPS, and then basically find out that once you get to basic training, you do all the stuff that you did when you had to enlist again. And then kind of makes you wonder, what was the point in anything I did for the 3 months leading up to enlistment, right? So there's a lot of time, really long days. Anyone who was in the military for any point of time, whether they served, a full commitment and are a veteran, or they were in for like 36 hours like I was, right? So there's a lot of time. And for me, I thought I was prepared. I was not, okay? And what happened that hit me really hard when I went there was that I couldn't communicate with my spouse, right? Like, you don't think about it until it happens, where it's just like, okay, well, now I am all of a sudden, yesterday I was living my normal life. All of a sudden I am in San Antonio and I am completely detached from the world. I have no idea what's going on. And for some reason, I thought I was going to do fine with that. I didn't. So 8 days later, after I show up, I had a just spontaneous panic attack. I guess I just cracked. I honestly, I don't remember it very much. All I remember is that I was standing in line up to that point. Okay. And this was obviously, I'm in basic training. I really don't have any freedom. Okay. So there's an agenda, there's stuff you're doing, but I'm basically stuck inside all day. I'm stuck inside this room with 50 other people. Okay, I have that panic attack. I go to something called 6T. It was on the Army base hospital at Fort Sam Houston at the other end of San Antonio. Okay, so 6T was the behavioral health ward. So that was where people who had what I was classified with was adjustment disorder. That's where they sent people like me, or people who were suicidal or had just general depression, anxiety issues, basically anything the military determined, yeah, it's probably not safe for you or others to be in the military. So this is where I get sent. Okay. So with the exception of about a phone call for about 15 minutes a day, I spend a week in this behavioral health ward in Fort Sam Houston at Brooke Army Medical Center. And that week, we're learning all sorts of things about like coping mechanisms for this and that, being alone with your thoughts. And besides that, I got one phone call to a person of choice every day, but the rest of the time it was 15 hours a day, basically looking outside a window. I'm going to be honest with you. The whole curriculum wasn't that effective. So at least for me, but it spoke to a lot of other people. And in the short time that I was there, I got to see a lot of people that had a lot more severe issues than I did do really well and end up leaving. So it was not discounting that at all, but I did not find it helpful. Anyways, and I promise there's a point to everything that I'm saying here. You're like, this isn't RC related, but this I think is important. So I spend a week in Brooke Army Medical Center. I had the option to leave. I had a panic attack on the Tuesday. I went there Wednesday pretty much. Well, I went there Tuesday night. My first day started Wednesday. They gave me the option to leave on Monday to go back to Lackland Air Force Base on Monday, but I didn't feel ready. I asked them to stay up, 2 more days because I didn't think I was ready to go back to a training environment. So I stay 2 days and I leave. All right. I go back to Lackland Air Force Base. And so there's a whole process that it takes when you leave. You basically they don't just ship you home. You have to do basically a whole out process. And this took basically a week while I was in 6T, and then also a week when I get back at Lackland. So when I'm at Lackland, I was in the Medical Support Training Squadron, which was MedHold. Okay. And MedHold is like all of the things that I described up to this point that I was having issues with, compounded by 2. Okay, so my dorm was with 20 people, and we were in probably the space of 20. It was about 20, 25 people, and I would say for any of us who's raised at the house church at Die Hard RC, our room was probably a quarter of the size of the main pit area in the room next to the track room is where we were stuffed up. And then on top of that, we had like 4 shower heads in there. So it wasn't a lot of space. All of us stacked too high, It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. But obviously, windows were right next to like the CQ, like our command thing. And so basically, a lot of us are stuffed in there. And the thing about MedHold was that there was nothing to do. There's nothing we had to do besides out processing appointments. So I was in there for a week. And I got there on that Wednesday, and I was there till the next Wednesday when I finally left and got to go home. And you sit there. That's all you do. You sit there and you basically look to the other end of the room for 15 hours a day. Okay. And there were some people, myself included, once I first got there, I acclimated okay. But there are some people who were going absolutely crazy. There's some people who were there 5 months stuck in this room, couldn't call home. All right. Like they were stuck there 5 months for, I think we had one dude, War Childers. He was there coming up on 6 months by the time I left because he had an ankle injury. And they had to have him heal in med hold, so that way I guess he couldn't sue them coming out. That was his story. But he was there that whole time, and he would wake up at 4:45 every day and wait to hear Reveille in the morning, turn the lights off for us because we didn't have a speaker in our room. So, and it was 1,000-yard stare all day, just waiting, because there was nothing for him to do. There was nothing for any of us to do. Some people had a really tough time with that. Someone like right in front of me as I was coming back from lunch chow one day, just straight up collapsed, freaked out into a panic attack, similar to how I did, because they were like, I can't do this anymore. I can't just sit here. I can't sit here and do nothing. I'm going stir crazy. Like, I'm stuck in this tiny room. I just want to go home and I can't. And that's hard for people, right? And the thing is like, yeah, you're like, okay, well, you're in a training environment, but there are going to be issues. Like, I'm just telling you now, there are going to be points where you guys are going to be stuck at home and you might find yourselves in a similar situation. Okay. I had never had issues like this in my life up to this point. And then I went to basic training and I was back within a month. So take it from me that you need to mentally prepare yourself for something like this, because whether you think it's real or not, you're going to be enduring it the same as people who think it's real or not. So that's kind of my PSA. I know that kind of ran long, and I actually had no intent of talking about that tonight, but it's something that I feel is important, and I really would hate to see the same things that I had to go through, and some people, they had to go through on a much, much worse level than I did, go through the same thing in the comfort of their own home. It's going to happen to somebody. And that's the upsetting part about it. So take that, unless you think that I was just spewing a bunch of bullshit for the last 20 minutes or however long it's been, then do with it what you will. But I'm just telling you what my experience was, right? And I mean, I was in the Air Force. Probably much harder for some people in different branches. I'm very cognizant of that. So take that for what you will. That's kind of all I have to say about that.
Well, there we are.
I was getting worried. I was like, I wonder if he's still here.
No, I'm still here.
Yep.
I was just letting you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like I said, it's people prefer not to talk about it, but it's something that I'm worried about, and this is a good thing. Like, be happy you have RC in a time like this. Totally. Because there's, even if it's something inane, like just rebuilding your car that maybe doesn't even need it, just do it. It goes a long way for you.
Yep. No, this RC stuff is really going to break up the monotony of doing nothing for those people that can't get out and do anything,
Oh yeah. So. Oh yeah. It's a big deal. And I want people to be cognizant of how important it really is. But yeah, on that, I think, back to some RC, I guess. So anybody that listened to the No Name podcast this last week, Keenan put out another good show. And we had Adam on last week, and we talked about RCGP a little bit, and just kind of the cost involved and why some people weren't as apt to support it. And so Joseph, on his rant on that show, made some claims where, like, there's this whole T-shirt supports my local track movement going around. Really, really cool movement. And companies are matching donations, and I haven't heard one bad thing about this movement, right? And I think that it's a really cool thing. I think everyone thinks it's a really cool thing. But listening to this rant, Jake, you had made the point of, okay, well, like, this is a really good thing. This is awesome. I hope this can unify the industry. However, if companies are willing to spend the money on this, then that shows me that lack of team support in RCGP is not an issue that is related to money like people like to claim. Okay, which was, let's be honest, the pretty much polar opposite of what Adam had said on our podcast last week, right? So I decided to do a little investigating. I was like, okay, like, this is kind of a bold claim to make. I don't know if I agree with it. So I looked at the shirts. The shirts are an average of about $38 per shirt match. Okay, so that equals out to between I think the website says between $50 and $70 goes to your local track of choice, which is super cool. And companies help pay into that. So all these companies are paying different portions of that $38 that go out. Some companies paying more than others. But the point being is that it's kind of a collective pot, right? So we talked about the cost of investment, all right, going into RCGP. Anybody who's listened to our show for, at any point really in the last year knows that we're supporters of RCGP in its entirety. Colin, I as far as I remember, unless there's been another one since then, and I don't think there has been, where you said that it was the best race you'd ever been to.
Yeah, it was awesome, and I love this series. I love the concept.
Yeah,
I love everything about it, and I really, really, really hope that it's able to grow and become what they envision it being, because it really is an awesome thing.
Yeah,
but I don't feel like the money side of it makes sense for companies to invest in, really. And it's not so much the entry fees for the teams. It's a big expense, but the logistics of it, 4 times a year or whatever their new plan was going to be, 3 times or whatever it was, to travel to whatever country in whatever corner of the world it is I think a bigger expense than the actual entry fees. So by the time they get it all added up, at the end of the day, it's a lot of money for a company to invest. And like Adam mentioned last week on our show about it, that to have 2 or 3 different drivers from different regions attending under one umbrella, such as Mugen. He explained that Mugen USA and Mugen Europe and Mugen Japan are all different entities. So to have one driver from each, and then that kind of investment, it's hard for Mugen USA to send drivers to Mugen Europe or to a race in Europe, RCGP in Europe, because the return on the investment is not what they deem as being a good investment. So I understand it. I understand both sides of it, and I really hope that they're able to make a series like this work, because that's what we need. We really do.
Yeah, it's a great idea, and we've been supporters of it since its first race, before its first race, when they announced all of it. This is, and I want to make that very clear going into this. And I wanted to see a data comparison, because that my issue is, and I want to preface, I guess, this with, I love Keenan, and I had this debate with him on Facebook just earlier today, and it was a very healthy debate, I felt. And, Keenan is very passionate about RCGP, just like a lot of us are, and passionate about the industry, and wants us all to come together. And I think we all have the same goal. And I really appreciate, what everyone does to try and support that. And Keenan raised a lot of good points. Like Keenan said that, companies, if they win, get, a lot of more money back than they put in, which is awesome. But, that comes down to that being one team. I'm not saying everybody needs to get a slice of that. Like, I get the point, but like that is a perk of being in it, right? So you could potentially get that money back. But obviously, the whole point of what I'm saying is that, and what you touched on, is that the whole point of all this was that the end goal for RCGP was to be financially sustainable from a outside source of income. Okay. Now,
and as a business going into a race series like this, it's a business investment. You're not counting on the prize money to come back to pay.
Yeah,
that's not factored into the expense side of it. So that's an invalid argument.
Yeah, and because at the end of the day, if you have what do they have, 6 teams? only one of those 6 teams is going to get it, okay? The manufacturers that are involved in RCGP, at least 3 of them, okay, are owned by non-RC entities that have the money to pour into these companies like Passion Projects, those companies being S-Works, Infinity, HB Racing, okay? Those are companies that get their money primarily from outside of RC. I would not be surprised. This is not a claim substantiated by any data, but I'm just saying I would not be surprised if all of 3 of those, well, I can almost guarantee maybe Infinity is this way, but all of those probably net out negative investments. I don't see how they're getting those money back. Maybe HB, but I wouldn't know. Okay. But I don't see how it could be profitable.
I think the whole premise of what they were trying to do is that you're going to make this initial investment.
Yeah.
And within a year, 2 years, 3 years, it's going to become big enough that it will start to pay itself back with increased customer base and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
which makes total sense. I get that side of it.
That could be the where they're coming across as it being a good investment. But initially it's very tough for an RC company, which are all very small in the whole scheme of things.
Yeah.
To make that initial investment and take that leap of faith. Yeah. It's very tough.
100%. That's a tough thing to do because there isn't that much money to throw around. Okay. The where I think this differs, and the whole reason I brought this up was to make this contrast. Where this differs from companies matching the shirt donations, okay? There are a lot more companies on that side of things spending a whole hell of a lot less money, okay? Not only that, but where that money is going arguably makes more sense than to put it into a series, even if they did have the money, because that money has to go back into local tracks of choice per the donator, right? So if tracks close, people aren't buying cars. So it behooves these companies to, and yes, I said behooves, it behooves these companies to spend the money to invest into local tracks, because if those tracks go away, guess what? You can bye to RC cars. They're not going to be buying any from you, right? So it doesn't make sense to penny pinch as much on that side of things. And a company like Infinity, who is like one of, I think, the title sponsors for that shirt, has enough money to do that in RCGP anyway. So then that's kind of a comparison that also doesn't work. So,
yeah,
I mean, they're just an outlier in general. So then you take them out of the equation, and then it even further tilts in the favor of these companies spending not nearly the amount of money. Okay. Now you can argue that maybe they spent more money on this than advertising a certain event like DNC. Okay. For the sake of mentioning Keenan's argument, which all of this was really, was just on a Facebook page, that, it costs $1,500, I think, for them to be a sponsor for DNC last year, which is a lot, no question. You could totally, I guess, make the argument of was it worth it or not, which we didn't talk about. But that is a lot of money. That is no question. Did he get back what he put into that event? I don't know. I mean, I have a theory for races like that, but I'll save that for another time as far as paying for advertising. But it's not a straight across comparison. Okay. And it's a bold claim to make that companies just have this money willy-nilly, that people just don't want to be a part of RCGP because they're resistant to change, and that's the only reason. Do we agree with RCGP? Absolutely. Do we agree with people not being always adaptive, always being willing to change in the industry? We absolutely do. Okay, we absolutely do. Colin and I talk about it all the time. The stuff that we do wrong and the stuff that we could do better and how we could do it better, all right? And a lot of people have ideas, yes. But these guys, and I will always have the respect for the people behind this organization, that they put a lot of what they had on the line to make this work. Okay. They had to take the year off. I hope to see it back next year. RC in general is up in the air right now, so that's a whole other rabbit hole we could go down, but I want to see them succeed. But what I feel like, if they are going to start making an impact and changing people's minds, there needs to be more talk about what can we do to incentivize companies to join us instead of telling them why they're wrong for not being a part of us. And this is the thing that upset me about that. And he wasn't talking bad about the shirts. I don't want to be slanderous to him. And he wasn't talking bad about the shirts. He wasn't talking bad about the cause. But what the topic of conversation a lot from him comes down to, if people would have just listened to me, things wouldn't be this way. Or you guys are wrong for not being a part of our CGP. It's just starting to sound a lot like the poor me thing from him. And the thing is that, and this is something that is the most important part of all this, it doesn't matter if you're right. In this sense, okay? It doesn't matter if what he's saying is right. What matters is that the perception that is created by claims like that. That is the difference. Because perception, unfortunately, that's just the world we live in. Perception has a much longer lasting effect on, in turn, perception of yourself than truth does. It's just the way the world works now, okay? I think we're all cognizant of that fact. Most of us are adults and know that that's how this world works. Some people have a better concept about it than others, okay? And someone is...
See, I think Joseph has a really good grasp on how the world works. I think he has a better grasp on how the world works than a lot of people do. A lot of people in this country, anyway. I'm going to agree with him.
I agree with you on that, with the exception of personal perception, and here's why. The issue that I have, and people have asked him, is like, do you know, like people have asked him before, it's like, hey, you know that you would sell more cars if you shut your mouth, right?
Well, and that is true.
He's like, well, yeah, of course I know that, but am I going to know because I have values and principles and opinions, and I'm not going to sacrifice who I am for money. And like, look, I respect that to the absolute end of the earth.
Yep.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I appreciate people who wear their heart on their sleeve, and I appreciate people who don't sacrifice who they are in the pursuit of success and money and things like that. Okay, there's too much of that in the world. Okay, at no point do I want to make it sound like I don't respect the guy, because I absolutely do. And I will always give him that respect for standing up and doing what a lot of people didn't in starting JQ and putting things towards like RCGP, right? But RCGP is the catalyst in a situation like this, where unfortunately that means that if it is actually true that people have the money willy-nilly to just support this and are not doing it because of his involvement, okay, then if your goal is to unify the industry, then you are negatively affecting that and making it basically impossible. Okay, let's play his game for a minute. Let's say that this is true, that this is the point that he's making, okay? Which I think in some instances is probably true, but I don't think it is an industry-wide issue. I don't think every company was like, JQ, no, I'm out. I don't think it was like that. I don't think we're that petty. I really don't. Some people might be, but I have a tough time believing the whole industry is that way. It's just, it doesn't seem very realistic. So if you want to unify the industry, you got to start acting in a way that is coming together. You have to give people incentives to join you. You can't sit there and tell them that they're wrong for not joining you all the time, because unfortunately, you're just going to come across as an asshole. And whether you are a correct asshole or not doesn't make a difference, honestly, because people are just going to not want to associate with you. We live in that world where perception makes more difference.
Let's break down the numbers of this whole T-shirt thing. What are some of these companies going to have to pay out? Like $3,500, $5,000?
So okay, so
something like that?
So I did attempt to do investigative journalism on this, and unfortunately, I pretty much met dead ends on both sides. I reached out to Live RC and asked them, if they had any idea of what the breakdown was of how much is each company paying of that $38. Okay. And I didn't get anything back. Right. So I can't speak to that, but we can look at the donation numbers, and we can say that $38, well, let's see. I'm curious because they do have the total amount raised. I think it was the last time I saw was $80,000, right? And I think there's some companies are throwing some cool things in there if they make it to 100K. Like I think J Concepts is donating some Ryan Mayfield's B5 or something like that. Yeah. So super cool. But let's just take that number. Let's say $80,000. Okay. So and that's in total money raised. So if they're doing match, okay, then you can say that half of the donations come from companies. Okay. So if they're
sure,
that makes sense, right? So
if they're matching it,
if it's a 1-for-1 match, which I didn't get the exact numbers from them. This is just going off of what the website is stating. So for all intents and purposes, it is accurate, I suppose. Okay. So that's 40K. Let's say divided up by, well, I guess it comes down to how many companies are involved, right? And there are a lot of companies on that shirt. So
how many?
Let's see. I have to go back to Live RC.
And the other side of this is the situation has completely changed.
Yeah.
Whereas, none of this virus thing was going on during the RCGP stuff, where, the RC companies thought everything was going to be cool and, we're just going to go on as normal, the ones that didn't want to participate. And their sales are going to go smooth and be the way they were, and then this virus hit, and now everything's at a standstill. So everything's completely different. So for them to invest money now and not invest it then, it's a different situation. They're investing it to try to keep the tracks alive.
Yeah. So, and on that note, so that was, I counted 28 names on that shirt, or on the banner on the shirt website, which as of the time I'm looking at this, it's at 101,000. Okay.
Okay.
So if we're going to take 50,000, divide it by 28, and some of them are, from the same companies that just have multiple brands like Associated and Reedy and stuff like that. But factoring stuff like that in, right? That still, if all 28 names paid the same amount of money, that comes to just under $1,800 per brand. That is significantly less than what companies would have to spend on a team entry to RCGP and the travels and everything else associated with that. Yeah, they might get 10 grand back.
Let's say that we're missing something and it's actually double that.
Yeah.
So $3,600.
Yeah.
That doesn't even pay the entry fees for RCGP. I believe it was 5,000, wasn't it?
I thought so, because I thought if it was 10 grand back, it was double whatever your entry fee was. But I don't think that accounted for. I don't know if the 5 grand accounted for travel or not. Even if it did, I don't see how it could going around the world. But
no, it doesn't account for travel. That's just the entry fee.
Okay, so there you go.
So then you have to buy your tents and all the promo materials.
Yeah.
Then you have travel on top of that and expenses. So it's not even close.
Yeah. And
unless we're missing something pretty obvious, but I don't know. I've even doubled what our calculations were, and it still doesn't even come close.
Exactly. And that's kind of my point in all of this, is that and why bring this up, right? We're not just bringing this up just to make a point and tell him that he's wrong. The point that I'm trying to make in this is that we need to stop telling people they're wrong for not being a part of it and start giving them reasons to be right for coming in.
Right.
That's what it comes down to, because otherwise, if we're going to keep making claims like this, it's going to be really hard to sway people. That's my point. Okay. Like I said,
right. And I wish more manufacturers and companies were involved with it.
Yeah.
I really think it is what we need.
It's what RC
so
needs.
Much. It was so fun. It was a great race for all of us in RC2 at Thunder Alley this year, and I really, really was looking forward to this year and hoping it would grow even bigger. And so, I hope nobody feels like we're bashing on RCGP at all, because
no.
I wanted to see it succeed more than anybody. So, it has nothing to do with bashing on RCGP, because
no, not at all. It was awesome. I did reach out to RCGP to get the numbers on what it would take for a company to be a part of this at either the team level or the advertiser level, and they didn't have numbers for me right now. So I did try and do my part in coming out and explain my whole point here, because it's like, I'm not just doing this so I can say JQ's wrong. That's not at all it. Like, the whole point of this is that, like, if we're going to make claims like this, let's try and substantiate it a little bit, because otherwise, if we're going to, if the whole point is to unify, stuff like that is just going to further divide us. And again, it doesn't matter if you're right, but in this case, you weren't. So that's my whole point. Like I said, there's no disrespect to RCGP, no disrespect to Keenan or his show. And I appreciate feverishly the approach Keenan took in trying to explain his side of it to me and explain the point. And I totally see where he's coming from, but it wasn't the questions that I was asking. It's different stuff that I was already sold on. Like I said, I always believed in the idea, always. So, and I still do, and I want it to come back, but like I said, I don't understand then. I guess it's like, is it more about bringing people in, or we want to, do we want to bring people in, make it part of RCGP, or do we want to sit there and try and prove that we're right, that people don't want to come in because of JQ? Because I don't see what that accomplishes, but that's just my opinion. If he listens to this, which we're a small enough podcast, I don't know if he will, but if he listens to this and has something to say about it, then that's fine. Like, I want to hear his retort to it, because all I'm asking for is the data in turn. Right?
Please send all hate mail to Travis Kendall at trackwalk.com.
It's actually trackwalkrc@gmail. I'm not that fancy. But maybe
addressed to Travis Kendall.
Maybe, addressed to, well, yeah. Maybe he'll accept my friend request then, so then he can message me. So anyways, that's kind of my point, is that I heard that, and I understand what he's trying to say, but I don't agree with it. But I agree with the sentiment that the industry needs to change. Now, maybe by the time this is all over, this will act as a bit of a reset for the industry, and maybe things like RCGP could have a clean slate to start from. So I don't know.
Please make RCGP come back.
Yeah.
Please.
And I'm not, like I said, I as a supporter who have no money involved on RCGP surviving at all, right? And if I put into RCGP as an advertiser, I would just lose it. I'd never get any of that back, right? It's just, that's not what do I have to gain from it, right? So, and that's not because of RCGP. That's because we're a Northwest podcast. Like, it doesn't make sense. So I have no skin in the game other than the love of the industry. Okay. I'm not petty enough, and I was pretty vocal about this when RCGP canceled their second season. I was pretty vocal that, hey, like, look, if you really are not joining this because of one person, you're an idiot. Like, it's why choose that hill to die on? But it goes both ways. Let's not try and make it to where people don't want to join because of one person.
Yeah, I don't think it's because of one person.
I don't agree at all.
It's just a money thing, and it's the return on investment didn't make sense at the time.
Yeah. If I had money that was bottomless and I could do anything wrong with it, I didn't have to worry about my return on investment. Dude, I'd be all over it.
Yeah, if I was
I'd be fielding half the damn team
Infinity,
out there.
I'd be there too.
Yeah. I'd be fielding half of the damn teams at RCGP just because I'd want to see it happen.
Right.
Like it's just, so let's not try and take that away from it. But
it's kind of like the XFL right now. All the teams are owned by one person.
Yeah.
They just want to see it happen. So he's like, okay.
People just want football. It's just what it comes down to, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, it's unfortunate, and I want to see it survive. And I'm sure I think we've said it enough now. I don't think anybody thinks that we don't want to, but it's just at the same time though, I like claims with base. So that was my whole point in even bringing this topic up. It wasn't even to invoke controversy, although I'm sure I just did. But you know what?
Yep.
At the end of the day, all of us have the same mission. So whether anybody wants to disagree with me on that fact, or if he has something he wants to say about that in turn, which I want to hear his side of it maybe explained a little bit more. If that's truly what he believes, then I want to hear that. But at the same time, at the end of all this, we're all just waiting till we can go to a track again. So by the time we get out there, it's not going to matter anyways. So take it for what you will.
We'll have to listen to Keenan's rant next week, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will come up.
Yeah. Real quick, though, a huge thanks to Keenan. After all this was over, he did give me a call today to help me set up the call-ins on to set up the call-in portion of this podcast. So I'm really excited for that. Really, I do owe a lot of support and thanks and just technological information to Keenan. That dude has been such a huge resource since we met him. And, like I said, we all kind of have the same goal, even if we don't agree with this in particular. What it comes down to is that we are all in the same boat as trying to support the industry. And we just want to see it survive because, none of us want to see it go under, right? That's, that doesn't seem realistic to me. So I hope that, at least I hope that he knows that. That I am really appreciative and that this isn't meant to be any sort of slight or disrespect at all. This is just a point that I wanted to make. So I'm excited for the call-ins. What else do we have before we move on to that?
Happy birthday to us.
Yeah, it is. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Track Walk RC. Woo-hoo. Finally did it.
I need some cake.
1 year. Yeah, I know.
I need cake. Do you have cake?
I don't have any cake. I have not left the house. No, man. I want cake. It sucks because last week I was like, man, I want cake, pastries. I was thinking about this because I was listening to the show and you're like, I think it was the Young Guns episode. You were like, oh yeah, I want cake. We need some cake.
Cake. I might have to stop and get some cake on the way home tomorrow.
You should.
Yeah. Just a cupcake.
Oh, God. I really want some. Poor Hep and I this week. Hep is getting the worst end of it from me, totally. I got sick at the beginning of last week. Went home, caught just a gnarly stomach bug, and I've had this sore throat since Monday. And I got over it pretty much by Friday. I think I was okay, and then Hep got it 3 times worse than I did and has basically been bedridden since. And God, I can't wait for all this to be over. Cannot wait to go outside.
Yeah.
Burn
some nitro.
I know, God. Don't even get me started.
As Keenan says, nitro is the glory, right?
Yeah. I cleaned my car finally, my HB from last year.
Did you put it in the dishwasher like we were talking about?
Yeah.
You did?
I did do it. Yes, I did.
Oh, yeah. Did it work?
Actually, it worked really well. I was very pleased. Don't worry, guys. I'm not getting divorced. I asked for permission ahead of time. We're good to go.
I was going to ask if Hep would listen to this episode and hear that.
No, Hep doesn't listen, but I brought it up beforehand. I was like, I asked 4 times before I hit go on. I was like, are you sure you're okay with this?
Yeah, it's a rental.
Yeah, right. Yeah, until that damages bill comes out when we move out. But Yeah, no, it worked really well. Obviously, the bearings are shot, but they already were. But no, she's sitting nice and pretty, right on the floor next to me on some towels. So
it's gonna sleep on the floor next to you, huh?
Well, I'm in my office, so all the RC stuff stays in here, and none of it leaves this room.
You might have to sleep in there too after doing that today.
I did it yesterday. And I did. It was the only thing in the dishwasher. I was like, I sat there next to it for 20 minutes. I was just like, oh, is it gonna be okay? I was like, as long as your car's gonna be okay. So I'm lucky. I don't recommend it because you will face more issues than I did, I think.
Yeah, the divorce is not going to be cheap.
I don't think it's worth it. And
don't recommend it.
No, I don't have a great facility for cleaning stuff here, and this car has been dirty since I pulled it off the track at Burlington last year. And obviously it's not going to run because I can't anymore, but it made me so sad looking at this thing, but I had no way to clean it. And finally, I just was at my wit's end, so I took the body off, I took the tires off. I didn't even take I took the wing off and I took the body off. I did not take the wheels and tires off because I didn't even have my wheel wrench because it's in my nitro caddy back at my dad's on Camino still.
Oh,
so
geez.
I threw the whole thing in there just upside down, ready to go.
You took the engine out though, and the electronics.
Oh yeah, all that's been out since.
Oh, okay.
All that's been out for a couple months now. My engine's actually sitting on my desk, and and my dad stole one of my servos, so I took the other one for the crawler. So, so it was already halfway there. So I just finished the job, and then I put it in, and besides some clumps on the chassis, it's all good to go. So
perfect.
It's gonna look great on my shelf. So yeah, that was my adventure. I will never do it again. And I ordered some cleaning stuff off Amazon finally because when I moved, I lost all of it in the crawl space that used to be my workshop. For anybody who used to watch my Facebook lives, so they knew the work conditions that I was in that house. So a lot of stuff is still down there, and I just have not gone to retrieve any of it. So yeah. Other than that, that's been pretty much it. I think we're ready to move on to Collins. Unless you had anything else, how are you doing with all of this? I know you're working, you're not quarantined.
No, I'm going to work and doing my thing and coming home is basically all I'm doing. And trying to get some RC stuff done here. I built this little drag car, and I've got a couple nitro cars to clean up and get ready to go, but not much we can do at this point.
Yeah. Just wait. Yeah. VRC has been a lot of fun. You get your VRC dongle yet?
I got the dongle, but I haven't got the confirmation yet to get logged on. So
yeah, some people were having issues with that. I do it through Steam, so I didn't have to wait. But I've had it for a couple of years. I paid for it like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I already had it, but for people who are trying to do it like the free version through VRC, they had some statement on it, but I didn't read it. But I guess some people are having issues with that. I mean, it's sat dormant for so long. So all of a sudden the guy behind this thing is like, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
So definitely some compassion for what he's going through right now, trying to get all of this just up so we can continue running. But it's been a lot of fun. I've enjoyed it. We put like a Die Hard Discord together at the thanks to Mr. Doug Hobbs, who is out of school right now because of all of this, so he doesn't have much better to do with his time. So he put a little server for us to all get on and do VRC together with, and that's been a lot of fun.
Nice. So I'm dying to get on.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's kind of been nice to revisit it after all this time, and obviously it's no replacement for the real thing. It never will be. But it's been a good way to kind of, I guess, maybe get the social side of RC. You know, keeping that in touch without actually having to go to the track with other people.
Yep.
So that's been super cool. So yeah, hurry up and get that figured out.
Can you like talk over the headset and everything?
That's what the Discord is for. So there's a voice channel in there.
Oh, good. So you can talk shit to people.
Oh yeah, no, it's been rampant. It's been awesome.
All right. Do they have a 40+ class?
Oh boy.
It's got to be a 40+ class. Come on.
You guys never stop.
Nope.
Can't stop, won't stop. AARP class. Oh boy. Oh, you guys are too much. That's all right. I'll get to join it soon enough.
Soon enough. Another 20 years.
Another 19 years and counting. I guess it's down to 18 years this year. So don't worry, we're coming. July.
I'm soon going to be able to run the 50+ class.
Yeah, I can't wait for 50 and 60+. You know the industry's going to have some problems when we're that far into it. Like the 40+ worlds. But I get it.
The industry's got problems when the 40+ class is the biggest class at some of these races.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah. Not because we hate people over 40. It's just like, you're in it, but it's like, it's not that I hate it. It's just that it's really telling, telling of where the industry, I guess, is at. And it was doing good for a while. And there's nothing wrong with 40+, but it by no means should be the biggest class or a complete transplant of the entries and the open class.
Yeah, it's just an indication that our audience, our RC audience, especially when it comes to nitro, is getting older, and there's not as many new people coming in. I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe there needs to be some kind of race series that targets people from the outside to get them motivated to come in and join RC.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Can put something together, make it happen at motocross or something. That'd be awesome.
Oh, I hope so. That would be so cool.
Yep.
Time will tell. Hopefully sooner than later. All this Corona stuff needs to stop. So we'll just have to see. But anyhow, I think unless you had anything else you wanted to talk about, I think we're ready for a break and to do call-ins. What do you think?
Oh, I can't wait. Let's talk to some people.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a break real fast. At the time I'm recording this, I have no idea what you're going to be listening to, so it's always a surprise. So just enjoy. We'll be back in a minute, and get your phones out and ready. Give us a call. Hello, who we talking to?
This is Brett Wilson.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Brett?
I miss you guys.
We miss you too.
Miss you too, buddy.
How's quarantine?
Yeah, well, I'm 9 days into a 14-day quarantine because I worked 2 weeks ago with a brother-in-law that has tested positive for COVID. So,
oh no.
Yeah, I guess it's just ramping up what everybody else is doing, just making sure.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's all.
Well,
everybody's in the same situation.
Yeah, that's true.
You feeling okay?
So, what do you guys? Yeah, I'm feeling fine.
Good. Okay.
I'm feeling fine. I'm 9 days in. I think I dodged it. We'll see.
Good. Okay. Hopefully. Yeah. Keep us updated for sure.
Yeah. So what are your plans with this segment here? How are you going to do this?
It's whatever you guys want to talk about. So whoever wants to come on and
a free flow. Flow conversation.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. No, this is we're a year in.
What's your
so
life like right now? Tell me about your lives. How are you quarantined?
Not
other than going to work. I don't do anything. I sit down in my man cave is basically my life.
Yeah,
I would love to hear some Jen stories someday, Colin. I don't know if you want to do it online here, but I imagine she's coming home with some war stories.
Well, she doesn't work in the ER anymore, so she doesn't really see any of that.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, much safer now.
Yeah.
Yep. No,
Okay.
Heb's got the stomach flu, so I've been home since all that happened. So,
oh my.
Yeah, that hasn't been fun. So, waiting to get to the end of that, and then I'll be in the same boat as Colin, just work and go home.
Uncertain times. It's just day by day.
Yeah,
it is. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, life up here is taking a strange turn.
Brendan and I drove out to the park today to retrieve the mower so I could change belts in it, and that's hard to look at right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet.
Are you guys out there full time?
You getting in on some of that VRC?
No, my computer that I could use for that is not here. It's at the storage where all the track stuff is, the RD equipment.
Okay.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, and I don't feel, with the situation I'm in now, I'm not going to go there and retrieve it until I'm past the 14 days at least.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Well, when you do, though, we got to make some VRC stuff happening. I know Wilbur's got a event happening, I think, right now. And so...
Yeah, I was reading some of the comments. They're struggling through some stuff. It takes a minute.
It's not an easy thing to do.
Out.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't a normal tech type situation Tyler would put himself in to teach everybody this. So I'm really proud of him.
Yeah, me too.
I love his one-word answers on the thread.
Oh yeah. It's in his words.
So descriptive, Wilbur.
Right.
I'm still waiting for my confirmation email.
I think that's what most people are dealing with, Steve. So to do what they're doing tonight, you have to be paid, right? It's a paid membership.
Yeah, you have to be a member. Correct.
Oh, okay.
And so a lot of these guys weren't paid until they learned that they were doing this tonight, so they haven't received the confirmation. So they're probably still in non-paid
VRC. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So let's talk about the park.
All right.
I've heard some people talking about building like a tough truck course or something like that with some mud bogs and stuff.
Yeah, let me. So I'll get to my map that I got up here, so I remember what I'm doing. What am I doing? What are we doing? It's all kinds of talk, silly talk. No, we got some fun plans. Just kidding.
All right. Well, I ordered something tonight to build for that kind of stuff. So
good. Yeah, there's a tough truck going in behind where the current crawler area is behind the RC track right now is the plan.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
Utilizing some of that current area that's already built in it and then just extending it past.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
And,
okay.
Tough truck is something that people are going to have to even learn what that is, and I'm in the same boat. I've been jumping on and looking at some of the YouTube tough truck competitions, and I noticed they all kind of vary. They're a little bit of depends on what you have in front of you.
You know, I think it's going to potentially take off. I think it's going to be one of those things where we don't think a whole lot about it, and then all of a sudden it's going to be a very busy day at the park one of these days with those.
Yeah,
I have a feeling.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see them all have solid axles.
Yeah.
The solid axles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I there should be I guess we'll just have to run classes and because there are going to be the rock racer style guys that are going to get really intense with it and into it. So it's just like any form, it'll take on its own life and grow.
Well, yeah. I'm building. You've seen those mega trucks?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm building. Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Solid axles, front and rear.
So we're talking monster truck, right? What we used to know as monster trucks.
Kind of, yep, pretty much, but a little bit racy.
What body?
I'm not sure yet. I haven't. 10th scale.
Okay.
Yeah, I haven't decided on a truck body or what yet, but it'll be 10th scale.
Yeah, there's plenty of area over there to do that. I've seen some tough truck competitions where it's a timed competition, they stood in one spot and drove from one spot.
Yeah,
and had to go through the course, and it was timed.
Nice.
That's gonna be cool.
So it's going to be fun because it's kind of like a crawler or something, but you could take it and run it anywhere, bash with it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know how long this quarantine thing's going to go on for, so I had to do something.
Yeah, well, the park is open to the membership that is in place right now, and there was somebody flying in a helicopter when we were out there. The Dunns came out to look at a project that they're going to help me build, and they're going to build that by themselves because he's unemployed, and that's safe, so doing that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Big area.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Ready to get it rolling for sure. We need to get you on for a full spot on here soon so we can talk about the summer a little bit more once we get some details ironed out.
Yeah, get some of this behind us because we're wondering just like everybody else how it's going to take off and when this all ends, and there's uncertainty everywhere. So
absolutely, for sure.
We got a lot of plans, and so over there where we normally do the food and the park area where the outhouse is, the Santa Can.
Yeah.
There's going to be an extension to there's a really wet area through there. So that's going to be the mud trail and an extension to some of the scale crawling is over in that area.
Okay.
Nice.
Sweet.
The drone field will be where the current, or the heli field will be where the current drone field is. We'll move helis there.
Okay.
And then drones are going to move over to the runway, the old airfield runway at the east end, the far east end.
Okay.
Very cool.
So there's some relocation happening. That'll be cool.
There's some relocation happening. The covered area that over at the airfield with the brick storage shed next to it, that is going to get transformed into the covered pits. We'll put pit tables under there, so it'll be the common pits for the crawling, the drag cars, and drones. So a common pit area for all that.
Okay. Sweet.
And then bash land out in front, because I think that's just going to be where we all go nuts, just out in front of the pit area and on the runway. So there'll be an area for bashers.
Okay.
Throw some jumps out there and change it up every now and then.
Yeah.
And then that.
Sign me up.
Yeah, I think I've watched a lot of videos, man, and I can't believe the amount of people that sit and watch this bashing competitions and just silliness that go on.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Well, that'll be cool. Well, hey, I hate to rush you out of here, but I've got someone waiting for almost 10 minutes, so I want to get him in so he can speak.
Oh, go get him. Yeah, that's what it's about. Get as many people as you can.
But
awesome.
let's stay in touch later this week, because I want to get you back on here soon, because it's about time we want to start talking about all this.
Okay, we'll keep having fun. RC's awesome. Bye, guys.
You got it. Thank you, Brett.
Thanks, Brett.
Okay. I think you know who this is, Colin.
I'm pretty sure I do.
Who is it? All right. From Phoenix, Arizona. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Tim Lyon. How are you guys?
Good. How you doing?
Tim, what's going on?
I'm just bored like everybody else. Just working on a new car.
I saw that. It looks good.
It looks really good. I'm super excited.
Well, that's
Very
awesome.
cool.
We have the pleasure of being joined by
What's
Mr.
the weather like down there?
I think tomorrow is supposed to be like 90. The virus is going to go away.
You.
Raining here.
Typical Northwest, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah. Sucks.
Yeah, I couldn't live up there. No offense, guys.
I wish I didn't have to.
Yeah, weather side, I get it for sure.
Right, no, it's beautiful for sure. Like my daughter lives in Yakima, so.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's beautiful. But man, I've been up there in the middle of summer where it's been 80 and beautiful, then leaving the next day and it's sleeting and like, what the hell is this?
Yep.
Yeah. Are we going to see you guys up here this summer?
Well, you know what? The travel budget went wide open with the World Champs thing. And,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
like P&B was scheduled for us to go to. So yeah, no, we're gonna hopefully the second half we can hit hard. Like my whole point is just try to go grassroots racing. Like I know Cheyenne Showdown for sure again. I know that's not your area, but it's close enough that. But that's a really good race as well. But I want to come up to a couple of those NCT events.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Drake's going to come up.
Yeah, Yakima for sure. I want to go to. Obviously, I have family there, so
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I hope you guys can make that happen. That'd be cool.
Fun track.
yeah. Any of you guys that my daughter owns the coffee grounds up there in Yakima, Washington. So.
Oh, really?
So yeah, a little shout out for her.
I'm gonna have to go figure out where that is.
Is that close to you?
Yakima's about 2 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know where in relative to the track her shop is, but we'll be up there for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll
it'd
hope
be
to
good
see
to
it.
see you in Camden again.
I didn't say he was coming.
Fair enough.
I'm kidding. But yeah, he'll be with me, I'm sure. But what do you guys
Definitely,
still,
that's awesome.
You guys get everything up there is kind of shut down?
Yeah, for the most part, pretty much.
Kinda. Yeah, pretty much. We're still working, but you know.
The essentials are everybody.
Just
Okay.
the ascent.
Yeah.
Call sound.
You guys getting a lot of back feeds?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
I'm hearing twice.
It's like echoing. I'm like, oh. Hopefully you can edit that.
No, but it's all right.
Oh, well, it's Arizona, It's probably some by the desert, like the warm weather is making it backseat.
For us, it's rain all the time, so.
Right.
Right on. Well, cool. I just wanted to check in and give you guys a little hard time, but I wanted to say hi.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. Hopefully, stay safe down there, and looking forward to seeing you guys make it out to some races eventually soon.
Yeah, we enjoy the show. I mean, it's sometimes when you guys are talking about the Idaho situation, that was pretty awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Not the situation, but you know what I'm saying?
I know what you mean. No, it's awesome. Thank you, though. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for the support.
Anytime, man. You guys have a good night, and if you guys have any questions for me ever, hit me up. Anybody.
Awesome.
Will do.
Thank you.
No problem. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Tim.
See you, Tim.
All right.
No problem.
Bye. Bye.
Okay, let's see.
Next.
Who's next? Don't have a caller ID for this one. Hello, who are we talking to?
What's happening, gentlemen?
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. It'd be going a lot better if it wasn't.
Yeah.
Can do.
Who are we talking to?
Hello.
Okay.
Ooh.
Still got you guys?
Hello.
A little bit.
Is it better now? Sorry, I'm walking around my house.
It's all good. We can hear you now. Who are we talking to?
It's fucking.
Oh, Jason Cocking?
Yeah, what's happening?
Oh, hey, what's going on?
Man?
I didn't recognize the voice at first.
Not much. Just watching it rain.
Yeah.
Getting some water on your track.
I'm doing multiple bottles off the track like the last 3 days.
That's awesome.
I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to keep busy hanging out with the kiddo, but
Yeah.
I'm running batteries when I can.
Hey, that's fair.
Yeah, I got to make it out there sometime and do some laps.
Yeah, come check it out. The cool thing about the track is you can't really tell if the video isn't done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this new e-buggy sitting here, and I haven't got it dirty yet.
Yeah, well, it does look as dirty at my house. So. Or it's where.
How you been doing, man? I haven't heard from you in a while.
Been good, staying busy. Yeah, been staying busy. Right before kind of everything started to shut down, I was out in Wisconsin doing a Subaru event.
Okay.
So got to drive on Frozen Lake out there in some Subarus for about a week.
Oh, that sounds like a ton of fun.
It was a good time. It's a lot of standing outside, a lot of watching people drive. But when you do get to drive, it's really, really fun, and it's a little bit different on the ice.
Oh, I can't even imagine how different that must be.
That's the second time you've gone out, right?
Yeah, I went out last year too, but we had some more courses this year, so I got to drive a little bit more. We had a event with some people in wheelchairs that was pretty cool. One of the girls had actually gotten paralyzed in an ice accident, so to speak. Her car hit some black ice and flipped.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool having those people out, and we actually got to do a little contest with the hand controls the last day. So that was pretty cool as well.
Oh, that's super cool.
Awesome. Wow.
Yeah, it was fun. It was different. So the hand controls are pretty cool. I've used them once at Dirtfish as well. They're something different. It's easy to kind of lose your feel of what's going on because it's just so foreign.
Yeah. Do you pick it up pretty easily, or is it really hard?
The way the one worked that I used at Dirtfish was you pushed forward to use the brake, and then you pulled down to use the gas, and you could do them both at the same time. So I thought I had a pretty good handle on it, and then I went into a corner and I tried to brake with the throttle still on. And went through the outside of the corner. The one we used back in Wisconsin was just a pull to use the throttle and push to use the brake, so it was really kind of a little bit slower. That one seemed pretty easy, other than when I picked up too much momentum. So it was cool. It was different.
Okay.
A different sensation to drive, I bet.
I mean, the feel is still similar. You just don't have the inputs that you're usually normal or that feel natural to you with your feet.
Right.
So, because you only have one hand on the steering wheel and then you have one on the hand controlling gas and brakes, so you have less control.
Okay.
Yeah. You can't use both at the same time.
Not with that one. With the one I originally tried, you could use both. So, and actually, it was a non-profit that brought out those people, and they actually brought a blind guy with them, and that guy actually drove as well.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I didn't hear about it till after he drove. I wasn't standing right there when he took off, but supposedly he drove pretty well from what I heard.
Wow. I don't know. We've all heard of driving by rail, but I don't know how you did that.
Yeah.
From what they said, he had somebody in the passenger seat basically tell him when to turn, but it must have been pretty interesting from inside the car. I can only imagine.
That's a lot of trust.
I would want to be the co-driver.
I mean, luckily out there you got snowbanks to run into, so you're not going to hit anything.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
But definitely on a road with ditches and trees and stuff on the side of the road, I probably wouldn't volunteer for that.
Yeah. Understandable.
I mean, I get in cars with people that can't necessarily drive all that well all the time, but
right.
Yeah, at least they didn't see. Well, that's something he got to.
Super
yeah,
cool.
It was really cool. He was super thankful.
Oh, I bet. Must have been the time of his life for sure.
Yeah, I guess the guy had lost his sight in Iraq in a bombing.
Oh, wow. So. Couldn't imagine.
Nope, me either.
Crazy.
So
awesome. Well, good to hear from you.
About everything that's going on, the virtual content that's going on.
I mean, with everything happening, we're just trying to keep it rolling. I mean, it's hard because, not only people kind of look to stuff like this, and when there's not much actual RC happening, but then on twofold, it's like, all right, well, we have to actually find a way to entertain people for a little while. So it's tough for everybody right now, but at the same time, I think everyone, including us, is just thankful to have it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I've thrown up some live videos of just me running, just because I know everybody's bored. But I think it's pretty cool what's going on with NASCAR, and I think I saw tomorrow night World of Outlaws is going to be on FS1 with iRacing.
That's so cool.
So really? Stuff going on.
I watched the NASCAR race this week. Pretty entertaining.
Honestly, it's more entertaining than an actual race that I've seen in the past few years. I mean, I tried to watch the 500, and it was about the most boring thing I've ever seen.
I mean, there's a little more. I think the guys are a little more, go into a corner or whatever. Whereas in real car, they.
It definitely isn't the consequence. I think it's kind of cool that they give them like 2 resets from the little bit that I've watched.
Did you see what, Suarez? Somebody? I don't know. He got 2 resets. 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 He got 2 res
I missed that last part.
Did you see Suarez on Sunday?
I didn't see that one. I saw more of the first race when Jimmy Johnson took out half the field multiple times.
Well, Suarez was missed and went head on into the wall himself.
Oh,
and then they booted him off out of the race.
Oh, I think I did see that. I did see the replay of that. Didn't he blame it on his dog?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm gonna have to go back and look now.
I read an article that he blamed it on his dog.
Oh no!
So you can see him just take a hard right in, and he missed him though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Oh,
geez,
no.
So funny.
Oh, awesome!
some of those guys,
that's
I mean,
almost
some of the setups are really, really nice.
Oh, I know.
Some of those guys, holy cow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy what people have got sort of put together at home to be able to do that.
Yeah, Colin's played on the ones that we have out at Dirtfish, and we might start doing some streaming, hopefully.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to go in there by myself and sit down for a few hours and play.
That'd be cool. I need to get out to Dirtfish again. I haven't been in many years now.
Yeah.
They're playing on them one day. I was up there playing, and Jeremy McGrath walked up behind me.
Yeah, that was pretty cool having that guy out there. I listened to him on a podcast last night because I follow some of the Supercross podcasts, and it's amazing. Like even the guys on those podcasts say how nice of a guy he is.
Right.
He's super cool.
And like Colin probably said the same thing, but that's exactly how he was in the entire 3 days. Was just super, super down to earth, nice guy. So it was really, really cool.
I'll never sit there and just chatting with him for a little bit. It was cool.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, thank you for calling, Jason. And it's good to hear from you, man. We need to get you out to a track soon enough.
Yeah, I would like to. We'll see what happens. So,
yeah, for sure.
8 months pregnant. So,
oh wow,
if this keeps going and we're moving in July, a month after the baby gets here, so we'll see. I would definitely like to get out and race once everything opens back up.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
you're moving closer to me.
I'm moving closer to you with more property, so
nice.
I think a practice track will be built at that place as well.
Awesome.
Sign me up for that one.
Well, we'll be there. You'll be able to find it. So.
Sweet.
All right, boys.
All right.
Well, you
Right
have
on,
a good
dude.
show. We'll talk to you soon.
Got it. Thank you, Jason.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we've got Track Walk's biggest fan on the line next. Who is that, Colin?
Me.
What's up, buddy? How's Elliot doing today?
It's your boy.
What's up, Elliot?
How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing?
Well, how are you?
Good enough. Try not to catch the Rona.
Yeah.
You know how it be.
I see you're doing a lot of RC stuff lately.
Yeah, I've seemed to acquire 3 new cars in the past month.
Whatever you can do to hurry up and get through this, huh?
Nitro. What's that?
Whatever you can do to hurry up and get through this whole quarantine, huh?
Pretty much.
Hey, it could be
I'm gonna
worse.
have
You have
18
to go to
cars.
school.
Oh, God, don't say the S word. My trigger word, Colin.
So are you getting out and doing any driving with your crawlers or anything?
Not really, because there isn't a whole lot to do around my house, and well, I can't drive.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. You're just kind of itching to get out, huh?
Slash 4x4 basher though.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so I can at least run that
anywhere.
Yeah.
Fairly long.
So, did they have you doing any
I
kind
don't really
of?
have anything good to say.
What'd you say, buddy?
You don't.
I said I don't really have anything good to say. I'm just here. I'm always kind of lurking. You know how it be.
That's all right. I know some people were on hold for a while, but yeah, no, it's all good. They say the whole point was so that people could just call in and just talk. So, no, I'm glad that people showed up at all.
Seems pretty busy.
Yeah, it was mostly. Not now.
Is there anybody behind me?
No, you're good. No one else.
Someone behind me, I'll leave.
I think Wilbur's VRC event might have taken some people away from calling us. So we'll just have to see.
I think I might go do that.
I'm going to go do it too. So if it's still around when this is all done, I'm going to go do it too. But yeah,
Don't you have a dongle?
I do, but I don't have a confirmation code yet.
Oh man.
I know. I've been waiting for
rookie mistake.
5 days.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people have that issue.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna have to pay for it, I think.
No bueno.
No bueno.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well.
Anything else new in Elliot's world?
Probably. I'm just too tired to think of it. I don't know, man. I'm gonna try the oval this summer.
Yeah, I think you'll like oval. Oval's a lot of fun.
Oval is fun.
I think I'll either enjoy it or get burned out in 2 races. There is no in between.
You know,
I think oval's more fun when you're though.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can see that.
We'll figure that out here pretty soon, I guess.
Some of the most fun I ever had was electric 8 scale late model. Oh, so much fun.
I have a B5M late model I'm going to run.
Oh, nice. Okay.
You need to build a drag car, Elliot.
That's true. I should do that. I've been running Jeremy Kim's car for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Should probably build my own. I've got plenty of B5 arms. I just need a SC5 chassis.
Yeah. I'll make it work.
See the one I built?
Yeah, that was sweet. What platform's that on?
That's just a buggy.
Oh, I thought it was their short course. Their short course is a rear motor, right?
No, this is a laydown actually. So.
Interesting.
It's going to be a handful, but it'll be fun.
Where do you stand on that rear motor / laydown drag car debate there?
Oh, I think the rear motor is going to be the way to go.
I think rear motor is going to be better, but I think I've driven a mid motor though, and it just it was so easy. And that King of the Streets race, the car that made it to the finals and lost, but they did make it to the finals. That car was a mid motor. So I think they can be just as fast. I think it's a little bit harder to get them as competitive as the rear motors are right off the gate. But I can see the benefits, definitely. I get the weight benefits of having the rear motor, but I could also see the benefits in the weight transfer because I see some people having issues with like rear motors, like pulling and trying to get the suspension dialed in a little bit more. I don't think you have those issues as much on a mid-motor car. So we'll have to see. Because Wilbur's is a mid-motor, and I drove that, and that thing was A to B, no problem with almost no input. And so
yeah, no kidding.
So when we finally get our DR10, then I'll be able to compare it a little bit more. and we'll just have to see. I mean, it's kind of hard to base it on feel sometimes.
Yeah, you're AE. When are we going to see the DR10 release, Travis?
That's a question for AE right now. I don't know. It's the whole.
Shout out to my boy Sean Maybell.
The whole issue with the virus in China shutting stuff down and everything made things kind of difficult. So, as far as I know, they haven't actually made it to the States yet. So it's kind of day to day. John Schultz on the MBM podcast. He talked about it a little bit as far as what the delay's been and when we can expect them. So we're just kind of waiting. We still have our SC10 that we need to hurry up and build, but we have some special plans for that thing. I'm not sure we're going to be the ones making passes with it. So we'll see.
Oh.
So we'll see.
Gotcha.
Sweet, dude. Did you finish your pizza before you called?
I'll leave you guys to this. What's that?
Did you finish your pizza before you called?
You bet I did.
Nice.
No,
you put mayonnaise on it?
In the way of my pizza.
Mayonnaise?
Oh, that's nasty.
Ew.
You just gave me awful visions.
Aren't you the one that put mayonnaise in your, was it mac and cheese?
Yeah, mayonnaise in the grilled cheese. He said he read it somewhere. He said he's not the one who did it.
I need to clarify that. It was something I read online, and I was wondering if it was a legit thing. I never did that.
So, I don't know if I ever told you, actually, but I actually went and did it. And
oh, no.
I must have not talked about this on the show, but I actually went and made the grilled cheese with the mayonnaise afterwards because this was on my mind for about a week after this came up. And so I finally got around to doing it. And I have to say, it was pretty damn good. I was really surprised.
Oh, no.
I was really surprised. Yeah. I'm
not sure if I buy it.
It was creamy like it claimed.
Nah, bro.
Elliot's about to swear off this whole show. He's done.
I'm going to throw up.
It tastes almost the same as it does with the butter, but the bread has a little bit more taste.
But mentally, I can't get over that fact.
It took up some courage to bite into it, I'll be honest with you. But I'm glad I did it. I don't continue to make them that way, but at least now I know to satisfy myself. So.
All right. Well, thank you for being the guinea pig for us.
Thanks for bringing it up, I guess. I still don't know if it's a situation in which to give thanks, but we'll take it.
I'll take it. All right. You're welcome, Travis.
Oh, sweet, dude. Well, thanks for calling. I appreciate it. I forgot to tell you before we go here. I did reach out to your favorite pro driver about coming on the podcast, but I haven't actually heard back yet. So I'm waiting to see. So when that happens, then we'll give you a call up so you can interview him yourself.
All righty. I'm looking forward to it.
Sweet. All right, dude. Well, take it easy.
All right. Peace out, guys.
See ya.
Thanks, Elliot. Take it easy. All right. Do we have any more?
No, that's it.
That's it. That was pretty light.
Someone called in and waited for a little while and had to get out. So
that was Shannon.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Mr. Eric Lundvall's calling me on Messenger.
Oh boy.
Love Eric. All right. Yeah, no, that's everyone. So we'll go ahead and close it here. But that was fun though. I think we only had, well, actually that's not true. Only one caller was not Northwest. But now, yeah, so we had Brett come on. We need to talk to him on the podcast soon. Tim Lime. Anyone who doesn't know Tim Lime, he's the USA S-Works team manager.
Yeah.
And then Jason Cocking.
Expert servos.
Yep, expert servos as well. And Jason Cocking and Elliot. So that was pretty cool. Oh, wait, we do have someone. Who just jumped in at the very last second from Yakima. I wonder who this is. Let's see. Hello, who are we talking to? Oh, and he's gone. Got crank called.
Just a tease.
From Yakima, but I didn't see any caller ID, so.
Damn. Oh. I wonder. Maybe that could have been Randy?
Maybe? I don't know. I had another caller from Yakima, too, that got off, so I don't know. So that was kind of weird. But, oh well.
Bummer.
Alrighty. Well, let's see here. We'll go ahead and shut that down. There it is. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that pretty much settles that. Thank you for everyone who called in. We didn't get as many people as we were hoping for, so maybe we'll have to do it again soon. But maybe pick a better time. I guess a Tuesday night maybe was not the best idea. But either way, thank you guys for calling in. That was fun. And I don't know, what else we have to talk about this week before we go ahead and close her up?
Well, I think there was 1,000 new deaths today.
Was there really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, something like that. I think the last time I looked yesterday was about 2,400, and now it's like 3,700. So,
God, brutal.
Yeah.
Well, just stay safe, everybody. Gotta take care of yourselves out there, and make sure that whatever trips you do have to take are necessary and worth it. Same thing. I hate to keep talking about this on the show, but unfortunately, it's a pretty prevalent situation in day-to-day life here, and it's affecting RC. So, I think, as long as we just continue to try and be as safe as possible, I think we'll be done with it soon enough. But that's kind of it.
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
Unfortunately. Okay, well, thank you everybody for tuning in to the Trackwalk RC podcast. This was episode number 38 and our 1-year anniversary. I really appreciate you guys supporting us for as long as you have, new and old. If you want to go the extra mile and support us on Patreon, you can follow the link in the description. Throw a couple dollars our way. Really helps a lot to keep this rolling and to make it easier, I guess, for us to keep doing it. And also, if you're interested in any Trackwalk merch, you can head over to our Teespring store, also in the description. And as always, we'll be back next week with episode number 39, and we will see you guys next week.
Wash your hands. Stay home.